Hey guys, Steve Zonardo here with Remax West Zonardo Associates. Happy Monday morning. Just a real quick update on the market. Current inventory, we're at 15,902 units, so we're up about 900 units since last week, but I'm not surprised at this number because we know this is going to rise. The number that I'm really surprised about is the amount of sales that happened in the last 7 days, which is only 903 units. This is probably the lowest reporting, God knows, maybe in a couple years. I don't remember reporting this low of amount of sales that happened in the last 7 days. Obviously, with the negative media coming out, everything that's happening, interest rate hikes and stuff like that, obviously sales are going to keep coming down. But I also did a cross reference in the last couple of years to kind of see how the flow of the buyers are, and theoretically April is the highest amount of sales. Then May kind of tapers down. May and June are very similar in the amount of sales. July, August taper down even further, and then there's an uptick September, October, which is basically how real estate runs. So that's basically that. An inventory. What to watch out for right now is on this Wednesday here, the Bank of Canada is meeting for their overnight lending rate increase, and they are going to raise it. We're going to see, hopefully it's only 25 basis points rather than the 50 that they're talking about. And how does that affect us? People say, well, it doesn't matter. Yeah, sure it matters, because the overnight lending rate is basically how the big banks get their money lent. So if that's raising another 25 to 50 basis points, and currently right now, let's say the overnight lending rate's at, I believe, 1%. For a 1%, the 5-year fixed mortgages currently right now are 4.5% to 5% posted rate, right? If this goes up another 50 basis points, we're going to hit that threshold over the 5.25% to 5.5% for a 5-year fix, even up to 6%. We don't know how that translates. They have some weird calculation that gets that done. So how does that affect sellers? And I'll give you examples. So Bank of Canada raises rates. The big 6 banks raise their rates. Now buyers, what they used to afford, because obviously the higher the interest rate, the lower amount of money they'll have to spend on purchases. And then how that affects the sellers is that the buyer that was basically, at par with the house that they were supposed to buy now can't afford it. So they're down here, and now you still got these sellers up here. So basically, you'll see these sellers keep chopping until they meet these buyers at some point, because the buyers are always the same buyers for your houses. You just got to meet them at some point with price. So that's what's currently happening right now. And I always revert back to where I sold my primary residence this year, and it's such a great example. It's such a textbook example where we came to the market a little late because we were pushed back with construction. It's some renovations on the house, and so we get to the market. There's 5 competitors in the market, better properties, more desirable properties than our house, but we had more features and benefits. It was nicely done, great utilization of space. I use this word often, and we priced it well. We priced it accordingly to the market, so it made the house look like a bargain compared to the other properties. So the other properties look like real, yesterday's type greedy sellers. And then there was like this new property came to the market, had more features and benefits, great utilization of space, and the price was fair. So we get sold within 6 days on the market. This is called pricing. Pricing matters in these times, because now we sold out at 2.3 million, and we're having all these better models that are usually 150K more. Let's say on a regular market, they're usually about 150K more than my house. Now those are down about 350,000 since their initial start price, and now they're even just very close to where I sold now. So they'll probably sell in the 2.2 ranges. So if I followed suit with the overpriced listings in the area, I would have got really messed up later, because my house probably would have sold for 2.1 million. So it was just, you got to be smart with these things. You can't look at the money that could have been, because it's never your money. You always got to look at how to get in and out quick, because that's on a descending market. That's how you make the most amount of money. So that's basically it. Another thing, what's currently happening, if you want an inside peek of what's happening in the real estate business like ours, and what's happening with closings, because I know a lot of realtors don't talk about this stuff. Everything is flowers and green grass for these people, but it's literally what we're finding now is properties that, let's say last week, for example, we had a closing on a property, and we got postponed a week. And what was happening is the people that bought our house, so the buyers that bought our house didn't close because the buyers on their house couldn't close. So what happens is our buyer sells their house for 3.1 million. The appraisal comes in at 2 million, so it's at 1.1 million dollars off of their initial purchase of this property back in Feb, the height of the market. Okay, and now what happens? We get pushed back. We as the sellers on our property at 1.7 million got to get pushed back another week. So what happens is now the buyers on the 3.1 million dollars got to get a reappraise. Now they got someone to reappraise the property at 3 million. I don't know how they justified $1 million spread between two appraisal companies, but it is what it is. But what happens is the banks don't trust the new appraisal, because they're like, well, if this guy came in at 2 million, now you're at 3 million close to list, and we know the market's fluctuated. We can't trust this data, so we'll have to pull the plug on your mortgage. You have to go somewhere else. So now these buyers are left scrambling, looking for a new mortgage. Now, if they don't get, they may get a mortgage, and maybe the bank say we'll give you 60 to 40% loan to value ratio on it. Let's say whatever. I don't know how much more money they're getting putting down on it, but say they want a higher deposit down, or higher down payment rather than before. And then what's going to be left with these guys is they're going to have to get secondary mortgages, private loans, and this is how the start of bankruptcy happens, because obviously, you get a high rate at, let's say, 4, 5, 6% through a B bank, and then ultimately you get a secondary mortgage probably at 8 to 12%. So this is the start of bankruptcy. So yeah, that's just currently what's happening now. We're starting to see. This is not the only property. We have a few other properties too. The appraisals came in short, and we have to fight with the appraisers. Got to keep sending them comps, keep refreshing them what we need to do here. That's pretty much it. So it's gonna be a fun ride, guys. We've been here in 2017, so we have a lot of data how to approach this. So have an amazing day, and we'll chat soon. Bye bye.